Good morning. It is Tuesday, September 6th, and I am Carrie Freeman. This is My Left Ear. I'm the writer, producer, director of My Left Ear, as I always like to say. And I had a fiasco yesterday uploading my YouTube video that I made for everybody on Labor Day. I know this is going to sound insane, but I think we're on like 19 hours and it's still downloading. And then I tried to download it again and it's still downloading. So, excuse me. What I would like to do today is kind of give you the Cliff Notes version, and the video won't be as long, but you'll get a bit of what I did, and then I'll come back on Friday morning because I'm leaving town Friday afternoon, and I'll do another one because by Friday, we've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there should be some interesting things that are happening, juicy, between now and the next 3 days, okay? Now, for those of you who've never visited here before, this is a liberal, fairly liberal YouTube channel. I do political commentary and news wrap-ups, and the runes help me make predictions. Sometimes I just make predictions from my left ear, which is I get intuition there. That's been proven. And that's how I work. And what I do in my private is that I'm what I call a change agent. I do private sessions and I help people achieve goals, and I do psychic coaching and consulting. So if you want any information, you look up in my community section for my contact and my books, my Patreon, or down below, okay? And I do happen to have this in my memory bank, that video 34, which is on my landing page. I'm dressed in blue and I'm wearing a hat, is about my psychic coaching practice. And it's a shorter one. It's like maybe 15 minutes long. So you could check that out. All right. So here we go into the Cliff Notes. So I did my whole, show, which I have on an outline here. And then before I got on yesterday, the breaking news happened with Federalist GOP judge appointed by Trump, Judge Cannon, Aileen Cannon. She comes from the Federalist Society. They're behind her with the billions of dollars. She approved the special master for Donald Trump. And a lot of the well-known attorneys didn't think she would. Now, my understanding is that she did limit it to attorney-client issues and executive privilege, but that's not all. She, according to Weissman, attorney Weissman, who's on MSNBC, all of a sudden his first name is Skip, it's just eluding me, but I love him. Very successful, a professor with FBI. She has somehow baked in legal guardrails for the DOJ that they can't continue investigating. They can't, look at the documents. And almost every decent attorney has weighed in that her assigning the special master and her reasons, like her letter, legal letter, is like outrageous, precedent setting, negative, awful for the future, because under normal circumstances, nobody like me or you would be able to get a special master, especially because, as I said in my long thing yesterday, a special master is asked for like immediately. And this was a 2-week delay, number one. And the DOJ already went through those papers because they're not crooked, the DOJ. They were with Bill Barr, but not now. So that kind of affected the reading. It was like one of those days. But now people are trying to figure out what Merrick Garland's going to do now, what the DOJ is going to do now. And I found out something like fascinating. According to Glenn Kirshner, who really knows what he's talking about from a lifetime of work, said that if the DOJ, if Merrick Garland wanted to avoid appealing and then going to another court and then to another court and doing exactly what Trump would like, which is delay, 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 he actually can indict today or tomorrow just on what he has. He could indict, you know, I always say to you, I'm not an attorney, but my understanding is he could indict the taking of the documents, the lying about the documents, and not returning the documents, and even having his attorneys signing off that, yes, the DOJ and the FBI have received every single file and document, and it wasn't true. So now, these Trump's lawyers, they have to go out and get their own attorneys because they're in trouble. What I think probably happened is he intimidates everybody and he bullies everybody, and he got inexperienced attorneys who were intimidated by him, and they said, well, sir, we need you to sign off on this, make sure they have all the boxes. And Trump said, yeah, they've got everything, just sign it. And they did. That's what I think happened, because it's their signature, it's not his signature. And Michael Cohen says that's what he does. Yesterday I read a lot of notes from the original DOJ response to the special master, and I don't think I should go over this today. It will be long, but it initially says, not only does plaintiff, and that's Trump, lack standing to raise these claims at this juncture, but even if his claims were properly raised, plaintiff, Trump, would not be entitled to the relief he seeks. It went on to say, appointment of a special master at Trump's request, as I said, came very late, would impede the government's ongoing criminal investigation and would, most importantly, I'm saying most importantly, impede the intelligence community from conducting its own review of a national security risk regarding improper storage. And then I wrote stealing of these highly sensitive materials. That's really this young woman, this judge. She's been with the Federalist Society for years. She's young, but for years. And she doesn't have experience, but she's kind of owned and operated by the Federalist Society. That's what happens. She's part of that. My left ear thinks that she went into conversations with other Federalist attorneys and advisors and got feedback. She's probably not supposed to, but my left ear says she did. Now, one thing that's interesting is that the FBI agents and the DOJ visited the storage room at Mar-a-Lago, but the former president's counsel, his lawyers, prohibited, I mean explicitly prohibited, government personnel from looking inside any boxes that remained in that storage room, giving that would be zero opportunity for the government to confirm the number of docs with classification markings. So that's what obstruction, I think. We go on. And the end of the response by the DOJ, which was 40 pages long, it said a former president does not have executive privilege. Only the current incumbent president has that. All right, so we got through that. Now, I think what you might be interested in is, even though this announcement came up, I had already tossed these runes, and I decided that they were interesting enough to share with you. And so let me do this with you. This is what I asked before the Little Miss Cannon dropped her lead balloon. Will Trump be indicted before the midterms? Now, a few days ago, that was like 4 or 5 days, and we're coming up on that limit. But that's not a law, by the way. That's just a suggestion that you don't do that, 60 days before an election. But it was very chilling, the runes that I got. So I'm just to share with you. I got the rune Standstill, which is the chilliest rune in the whole runes deck. Other words that go with it are withdrawal, ice, And it says, the winter of the spiritual life is upon you. You find yourself, he finds himself entangled in a situation which he is blind, because he's got all that craziness and denial. And he has the accusatory, that's his go-to thing. He may feel powerless, may have to submit and surrender a long-cherished desire, which is to be free and to be the next president. Positive accomplishment is unlikely now. He is alone, cannot hope to rely on friends. They are withdrawing, and advises to him, do not persist. Then the second rune I got was the rune Signals in the reversed position. It says, may be concerned over failed communication and awareness in your past history that he created all of this. Cannot hope to rely on friends. Oh, no, I went back. I read the wrong line. May be concerned over failed communication and awareness of your past history. A sense of futility and wasted motion is involved here. And last, constraint, which is pain and necessity, necessary constraint. This rune represents obstacles that we create for ourselves. Here, growth has been stunted. A need for constraint is unquestionable. Now, there is this semi-rule about indicting before the midterms or elections. But here's something that Glenn Kirshner said. Again, I'm just going to repeat. The DOJ may shock us this week and go straight to the indictment because they can bypass Boardwalk, the GOP Judge Cannon corrupted Boardwalk. They can just bypass her and go right to an indictment and get things rolling. And you know they might do that. I can literally, my left ear can literally feel how angry Merrick Garland is right now. Just can imagine. Now, the Trump rally now is days old. And I just want to share with you my left ear, once again, entertainment purposes only. But he actually said these words. Mark Zuckerberg came to the White House yesterday and kissed my ASS. That's a dementia alert. He has not been in the White House for over a year. He could not remember Mehmet Oz's name. He ended up referring to his wife, Lisa, because evidently that's what he could remember. And there's a possibility that he actually forgot his son's name, Barron, because he said, and they raided my 16-year-old son's room. I have a feeling he forgot. And just an observation from my left ear, I saw footage of Marjorie Taylor Greene at that rally in a bright, tight dress. And two things that I want to say, entertainment purposes only, really want to cover myself today, that my left ear thinks that she takes steroids. It's her impulse control, it's her anger, her delusion, she has rage, she has masculine features that I find very Neanderthal-ish. She probably won't be tested, we'll never know, but I want to share with you this. And I also went right into her brain. I swear to God, she's thinking she could become the next VP. Swear to God. Swear to God. That's on her mind. So, you know, there we go. The other thing I talked about briefly are that a lot of GOP candidates are scrubbing their sites with like Clorox. They're getting rid of mentioning Trump. They're getting rid of mentioning pro-choice and abortion. I don't know about firearms yet. I don't know about that yet. But so they're scrubbing, they're changing, and they're looking much more innocent on these extremists are looking much more innocent on their websites. But it's too late. Scrubbed. GOP candidates from Colorado, Michigan, Nevada, Minnesota, North Carolina, They all saw the blue trend that happened in Kansas. They see the evidence of women's outrage and they're scared. But it's too late. I'm here to tell you it's too late. My left ear has a question about Jared's health. He looks extremely sick to me, almost like he's a dying man. And I just think we need to keep keep watching him. Nobody his age should look white and skinny and without energy and like a nothingness in the eyes. I mean, he's already a zombie, but he's worse, and I think there's something going on. Very serious with his health. All right, now really quickly, I'm going to cover Kari Lake. I did some runes, but I want to, like I said, I want to make this shorter today. There's much more coming. That previously she was doing, she was ahead of Katie Hobbs for governor of Arizona. When Roe v. Wade was overturned, Hobbs went up to 45.7% and Lake remained at 40.0%. Now that's about Roe v. Wade, but Roe v. Wade is going to push this upcoming election in a big way. We've already seen that. And women are registering in droves, historical droves. So I want to say that I am not convinced at all that Kari Lake is going to win. Like I said a few weeks ago, the Supreme Court did the Democrats a favor because I still feel we're going to win the House. They're doing a lot of propaganda about the Republicans have a way of winning the House, and I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. So I'm sticking with that. And in the runes, because I don't have time today, I really don't like Kari Lake. I mean, I just think she's like awful opportunist and is just trying to replicate DeSantis and Trump and get her foot in that door. I don't think it's going to happen. If it does, it's a tragedy. And we will go on. Marcus Flowers, you know, he's running against Marjorie Taylor Greene in the reddest of red districts. It looks like he might win, not by a huge margin, but the runes pretty much told me that Marjorie will try to obstruct the outcome, argue with the outcome, and dispute the outcome. That is not a surprise for her. Would that be right? I know my left ear subscriber asked me to look at Josh Hawley, and I will. I just sort of didn't have time. I will. So I try to hear your concerns and questions. Now I'm just going to move on. These are the cliff notes. I hope you're not disappointed. Maybe better to see me for a few minutes and we chat, and then I'll come back. And I don't know about Patreon. I must do it. I want to do it, but with clients and this delay and having to repeat this, I may have to do Patreon tomorrow, but I will, and I have a good Patreon for you. I want to say thank you for subscribing, for your patience, for your support, for your compliments. Now, one last thing, I'm gonna mention this good evidence that I discovered this week, but I also want to reiterate that if anybody out there has a story about good evidence that they encountered, and I am taking these stories that you've already begun sending me, and there's a section at the end of my book of true good evidence stories. A lot of them come from me because I've kept a diary, an evidence book for so many years, but I really like hearing from, well, I don't want to say, you know, I don't want to out anybody, but it would be without using your name. So if you write me your little story, it can be really short, to my karisleftear@gmail.com. I won't use your name, and you can just say you have permission, because I want to hear. I'm getting good stories, really sweet stories. All right, so the good evidence this week is not exactly an event that happened. Well, kind of. I discovered 2 days ago that the New York Times had research that shows small gestures matter even more than we think they do. And the article in the New York Times, and is it from yesterday? Let's see, yesterday was the 4th. I think it's the 3rd. I think it's September 3rd. Is called The Unexpected Power of Random Acts of Kindness. So, you know, the issue is bubbling up everywhere, that we need more of this. But to find out that there's actual research that, you know, when you buy a cappuccino for someone, you give a compliment, you give someone a parking space, that it really matters. So it doesn't require a lot of energy. I mean, some good evidence is big good evidence that I call monster evidence, and I have monster evidence in the book. And the book is going to be paperback, by the way. So we'll keep you in touch on that. It's just about ready to go to a proofreader to clean up my mistakes. And now we come to quotes, and this is political because I just wanted it to be, because I'm the writer, producer, director. When Jon Stewart stepped up and began fighting for the veterans who need medical care, and especially the ones who have been injured in the burn pits. And he was in front of Congress, fearless, and he said, "I'm not going to censor myself to comfort your ignorance." Jon Stewart, he said that to Congress. "I'm not going to censor myself to comfort your ignorance." Applause, applause, applause. All right. Wish me luck. And I'm gonna go down, upload this right now. Oh my God. And, but it's not the end of the world, right? We're not in Ukraine. It's just my uploads wouldn't upload. It's not the end of the world. Got water, shelter, air conditioning, a shower, and food. And even a car. It's good. So I wanna say, make peace, make memories. I'll be back on Friday, if not sooner, with the general video. And look for Patreon tomorrow. I'll put an announcement in the community. And once again, thank you for hanging with me and being patient. I'll talk to you soon. Make peace, make memories. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.